everybody, I'm Chef Sean and this is my sous chef,
Isa.
and today we're going to make something called Pennsylvania Dutch potato filling. This is something my family always makes for like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but it's so delicious, and I had a bunch of leftover potatoes today, just odds and ends, and I was like, instead of mashed potatoes, why not celebrate? It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, so let's have potato filling. Pennsylvania Dutch potato filling is typically from Lancaster County or Bucks County. It's kind of a centralized thing where where the Amish live down there in Pennsylvania. That's where my family came from, and my grandmother always cooked this, and then my dad made it, and now my aunt makes it. My Aunt Barbara, she makes it all the time. I called her up today just to confirm my recipe was good, so I think we're good. So Aunt Barbara's one's for you. So, potato filling. So, you're going to take a bunch of potatoes here. We have about 10 potatoes, different sizes, but different potatoes. Usually, yellow or white potato is the way to go. You're just going to give them a quick chop up. And at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to cook some onions and some celery. We have about one whole, like white or yellow onion, and then 2 stalks of celery. I use the ones with the leaves because that gives extra flavor, as my dad always said. Then we're also got a little parsley to it, some salt, pepper, and some eggs, and some of our fresh bread that we made. And so we're gonna add that to everything as well. So first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna chop up these onions. Just gotta give them just a quick chop up. Doesn't have to be anything pretty because we're gonna boil them. We're making almost like mashed potatoes. Leave the skins on, gives great flavor. And while I'm doing that, Isa will take some of this butter, and we have a nice baking pan over here. We're gonna bake it in this pot, and so the first thing we do is take some of the butter, just pick up a whole stick and smear it all around. So you want to have the butter all around the outsides. This way everything won't stick to it, and again, butter's flavor. We're using unsalted butter is the way we go. So we'll get that going, and then what we do is with the rest of that butter, we're going to put it into another little pan, and then we will put all the onions right up in there, and then all the celery. Add that to it as well, and then all that one stick of butter. So all that will go into this pan here, and we'll just looks good. You got it all coated?
Yeah.
All right, and just throw this in here, and we'll cook this over the stove over low heat just to get that flavor going. You want that lovely onion cooking smell to happen. And while that's going on, we'll get that cooking. We'll cook the potatoes, and then we'll take the bread right now. Just take the old bread, and Isabella will rip it all up into small kind of pieces. And we'll put it into our mixing pot right over here. So a nice mixing pot. Mix that all up, and then once everything is cooked and mashed and all that kind of stuff, we're gonna add everything to it together, along with the 2 eggs, and then we'll bake it in the oven. And we'll show you how everything's coming on in just a minute. All right, so the potatoes, you don't need to cut them up very finely. So basically, I'm just cutting them in half, and then we'll together cut them in half again, and then give them a quick, just a rough chop. And the water we're putting into is salted water. You know it's properly salted when you taste it, and it tastes kind of like the ocean. So that helps to build the flavor of your pasta, and if you're doing pasta, but we're not, and if you're doing potatoes too. When you're doing mashed potatoes, salt your water first when you're cooking them, gives it extra flavor. So we're just gonna cook these until they're mashable. So that's what we're gonna be doing now. So after about 20 minutes, our potatoes are nice and soft. So we're gonna take them. And he said, well, if you can just start mashing them. We added them to the bowl with all the bread in it. So all your bread is in there, all your potatoes, so you can get everything kind of mashed up. I'll hold this. This could be very exciting. So we get them mashed up and all kind of mixed together. So you want your bread, your potatoes, everything all mixed together. And then kind of facilitate the mixing there. We're gonna add, remember we cooked off our onions, our celery, and the 1 stick of butter. So we have all that, and we're just gonna add that right into our pot here, into our mixing bowl. We'll scrape all the goodness out. So we'll add this. As you can see, we didn't get a lot of color in our onions and our celery. We just wanted to kind of get them cooking, get them a little translucent and smelling good, because they smell really delicious. Cooking onions, great smell. To that, we're gonna add a little bit of parsley. So this is probably about a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons of parsley, which we've chopped up, and we're just gonna add that to it. Add some nice color to the whole affair. Gives a little flavor too. If you want, you can even add celery seeds to this if you'd like to really make it more exciting. And then next, we're gonna add 2 eggs. So we'll crack 2 eggs, Trying to get the shell in there can be dangerous. And you're just going to put them right in. Mix that all in as well. So the whole thing is to get nicely incorporated. Wash a little extra egg off my hand there. So mix everything and beat it all down. So once this is all kind of mixed together, incorporated and smashed down, you add some pepper. We really got this stuck. Holy good night. So hold it up and down this way here. So you can do this in a mixing stand if you want, or by hand. It's much more exciting this way. The adventure is always good. So get this all mixed in. You're gonna add probably about what's your favorite number for grinds there?
10.
10 seems to be a good number. So about 10 grinds of pepper in there. So it should be about a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. And we'll continue to kind of mix all this up so everything's nicely combined. Alright, get it all nice and mixed up. And then what we're going to do next is going into that casserole dish that we had buttered up. So first we'll probably just give it a little taste, make sure. Tasty. Doesn't need any more salt. So I had salt there on the side, but since we cooked the potatoes with salt already, don't need to add any more salt. So you're going to take your casserole dish, which you've already pre-buttered, and then we will just add all this into it. This is a nice dish because you can pre-make this. You do not have to make it, and you can make it the day before or 2 days before and keep it in your refrigerator to hold. And then when it comes time, you bake it at 350 degrees until it gets nice and brown and hot and delicious. I like to cook it for the first like 45 minutes with the lid on. And then for the final 15-20 minutes, I like to crank it up a little bit and let it get really nice and brown on the top. The brown bits, probably my favorite part. And the corners, I guess the corners of, there's such a thing in the corner of a round dish, but the corners are also delightful. So you can scrape all this stuff out. Here you saw a whole you scrape. And then to make it even better, so again, so this is something you can pre-make. You can, it doesn't have to be something that you're doing right away and rushing. You can make this day before, and then when it's time for dinner the next day, you can take this out. Now, get that all flattened out, and then because more butter makes it better, so we'll add a couple things of butter right to the very tippy top here, a couple pats, and that even, if it's possible, makes it even better. So we'll just add like 3 or 4 nice little pats of butter onto there. And then when it comes time, again, it takes about 45 minutes. You're going to bake it in your 350 degree oven. And then for the last 10 minutes, take the lid off and bake it at 400 degrees. So here we go. So let's see our potato filling. Oh man, it is delightful. So you have nice brown, the crusties, and some wonderful potato filling. Hope y'all enjoy this. Make it part of your meal at night. It's an easy thing to do. Anyhow, that's Pennsylvania Dutch potato filling. Enjoy it. It's wonderful use of potatoes and some old bread. Bon appetit. Thanks a lot for cooking with Chef Sean.
Bye.
Bye.
Meow meow. Mama. Well, say hi, Luna.